Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to share a simple homemade bread recipe. So these are all the ingredients for this recipe, and the full list along with the measurements will be listed in the description, so make sure you check that out. So I have flour, water, sugar, the yeast of course, salt, and grapeseed oil. So to activate the yeast, you want to add the sugar along with the 2 packets of yeast to some lukewarm water and give this a light stir. Now you want to set this to the side for about 5 to 7 minutes and allow the yeast to proof. So after adding the grapeseed oil, you want to combine all of this until you get to like a breadcrumbs consistency. So it's kind of messy right here. So what you can do, if you don't like to feel the flour on your fingers, you can actually use like a spoon to kind of combine this until the flour is less sticky where you can use your fingers, okay? But to me, I don't mind. So I'll go in with my hands and I'm kneading, and I also went ahead and add about a 1/4 cup more flour. So with this, you want to add a little bit more flour at a time until you get to like a smooth dough where it's not so sticky. Okay, so as you can tell right here, I went in and add the flour, and as I mentioned, just continue to knead this until you get to a nice smooth dough. So once you have kneaded the dough, it's time to coat the pan and the actual dough with some oil. This way the dough doesn't stick to the pan as it's rising. Okay. So adding the oil also makes the dough smooth, as you can tell right here. So what I'm gonna do now is to keep this in the pan and cover it to rise for an hour. So an hour later my dough has risen, and so what I'm basically doing is to coat the surface with some flour so I can roll the dough and form the bread. So as you can tell right here, my dough pretty much tripled in size, and I'm gonna cut this in half because I'm making 2 breads. So if it's your first time making bread, this might be a challenge to form the dough into like a loaf shape, but try your best. As you can see what I'm doing here, I'm basically just folding the dough, okay, until I get to like a smooth loaf shape. So I'm basically going to do the same thing with the other dough. So what you want to do, as I mentioned earlier, just fold and roll your dough, add flour if needed, until you get to like a smooth loaf shape, okay. So after adding the dough to the baking pan, you want to cover them and let them rise for 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, my dough has doubled in size. So now I'm going to bake these. Make sure that you preheat your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake these for 35 minutes. So after exactly 35 minutes, the bread them up and running, and these look amazing. I'm gonna let these cool off before I start cutting into them. I know the temptation of not being able to eat your fresh homemade bread on the same day. Yes, I've been there, done that. But in order for you to get the most out of your bread, it's best to consume it the next day. Okay? So this is the next day, and I'm gonna cut into it so you see what I'm working with. Honestly, this bread is amazing. It's light and soft. And that's pretty much it. A basic homemade bread recipe.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.